Welcome back to another Destiny 2 Lightfall video. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new fusion rifle called the Royal Executioner. We got a little bit of a god roll guide for you guys, going over the perks, the stats, so that way when this drops for you guys out in the wild, you guys know what rolls are good, so you don't accidentally delete a god roll. So Guardians, let's get into this. Now this is a Season of the Defiance weapon, meaning it drops from the Defiant Battlegrounds. It actually is a craftable weapon, so you can get those enhanced perks. Now diving into it, this is a legendary solar energy fusion rifle. It's an adaptive frame, well-rounded grip, reliable and sturdy. It's the same archetype as the Techian Force from the Last Wish raid, the Dreambreaker from the Moon, or the Burden of Guilt from Trials of Osiris. And looking at this graphic here, when we stack it up against those fusion rifles, it's got pretty average perks, but I will say the perks that really count, the range and stability, it is lacking. It only has a base 31 range and a 35 stability. So when it comes to the barrels and the batteries, we definitely need to build into that a little bit. So if you guys like a little bit more range on your fusion rifle, we have small bore here. Going to give you a +7 to stability, +7 to your range, or you can go with hammer forged. It's just going to give you a +10 to your range. But if you guys like building into stability on your fusion rifles, we've got arrowhead break, going to give it better recoil direction and a +10 to your handling. And then there's also chambered compensator, it's going to give you a +10 to your stability, +10 to recoil, and a -5 to your handling, which in my opinion, it's definitely worth it. Like I said, stability wasn't too hot on this, and this will give you a +10. And for the batteries, I would say go with either projection fuse or particle repeater. Projection fuse is going to give you that range bump if you're into that, going to increase it by 10. And then particle repeater is going to give you that stability bump if you want that. That's going to give you a +10 to stability. So if you guys want more range, hammer forged, projection fuse, or if you want stability, you go chambered compensator and particle repeater, or you can actually go right down the middle and do a ranged barrel like hammer forged and then particle repeater for stability. That actually isn't a bad option. Then going over the perks in the first trait column, you got slick draw, grave robber, offhand strike, threat detector, lead from gold, firmly planted, and envious assassin. Slick draw increases your handling but decreases target acquisition. Wouldn't recommend it. Grave robber is good for PvE. Melee kills is going to fully reload this weapon's magazine from reserves. Offhand strike is actually a really good perk for the crucible. On a weapon kill, you're going to get a buff for 7 seconds. That's going to give you a +30 to stability, a 1.45 times damage fall off start and end distance, a 3 to 3.5 precision aim angle, a 95% accuracy cone size, and a 95% accuracy cone growth. And this only applies to when you're hip firing. I don't know if you saw any clips of the Heritage Slug Shotgun with this offhand strike, but you can freaking map people with this in the Crucible. Then we also have threat detector, increases reload speed, stability, handling when enemies are in close proximity. Decent for PvE. I wouldn't really use it for PvP. We've got lead from gold, picking up heavy ammo, also grants ammo for this weapon. Great perk for PvE to make sure you never run out of ammo for your fusion rifle. You've got firmly planted, increases accuracy, stability, and handling when firing while crouched. It's going to give you +30 handling and 20 stability, 40% accuracy cone size, 17% accuracy cone growth, 80% horizontal recoil. But since this is a fusion rifle, the effects are halved on a fusion rifle, but it's still a pretty decent perk. And then last but not least, in the first column, we have a brand new trait perk, Envious Assassin. Rapidly defeating targets with other weapons before drawing this one transfers ammo to the magazine from reserves. This effect can overflow the magazine based on the number of targets defeated. It maxes out at 150% increased magazine capacity. It always rounds up the magazine. Magazine capacity increases per kill. On primary weapons, you get a 20% increase in your magazine. Special and power weapons will increase the magazine by 10%. Now for PvE, I would definitely recommend Envious Assassin. This would be my top choice in this column. I went and did some testing in a lost sector on Nessus with a bunch of Vex. On the fusion rifle that I have at base, I get 8 in the magazine. When I get 2 kills in a row, it goes from 8 to 10, and then it just steadily keeps increasing. As you can see, these numbers that I did right here, if I get 12 kills in a row, my magazine will actually go all the way up to 18 in the mag on a fusion rifle. That is insane. So for PvE in this first column, I would definitely say go with Envious Assassin. And if you're looking for a PvP role, Offhand Strike would definitely be the go-to, or Firmly Planted, but Firmly Planted got nerfed on fusion rifles, so if you can get Offhand Strike, definitely go with that. Then in the last column of trait perks, you got Pugilist. Final blows with this weapon generate melee energy, dealing melee damage, briefly improves this weapon's handling. Very good for those melee builds. I'm looking at you, all you Strand Warlocks. Then we have another melee perk, Swashbuckler. On a weapon or melee kill for 4.5 seconds, this gains increased damage from melee kills and kills with this weapon. 1 kill gives you a 6.7% increase in damage, 2 kills gives you 13.3, 3 kills gives you a 20% increase, 4 kills gives you 26.6 increase, and 5 kills with your fusion rifle gives you a 33.3% increase in damage. Or you can just get 1 melee kill and you'll jump all the way up to ×5, and you get that buff for 4.5 seconds, which is really very good. Then you have Elemental Capacitor, increases stats based on your currently equipped subclass. I would only recommend this perk if you are planning on using a Void subclass. Like I said, stability is really low, and Void gives you a +20 to your stability. Very beneficial on this fusion rifle. Then you've got Successful Warm-Up. Each final blow increases the charge and draw speed. This perk is alright in PvE, but I think it's more aimed towards PvP on fusion rifles. You get a kill, and then you can like immediately fire again, get another kill in the Crucible, really catch those Guardians off guard. Then we have Killing Wind. Final blows grant increased mobility, weapon range, and handling for a short duration. This is one of my favorite perks for the Crucible. You get a huge bump in your stats, +50 to mobility, +40 to handling, and 20 to range, and a 5% increased damage fall off distance. Top tier perk for the Crucible. Then for the last 2 perks, they're actually pretty spicy for PvE. We've got Reservoir Burst and Incandescent. Reservoir Burst states that when the battery is full, your next burst deals additional damage and causes enemies to explode on death. And it's a 25% increase in damage that causes enemies to explode. Reservoir Burst is a very, very good perk for PvE. It's not that good in the higher end content because Reservoir Burst will only proc if you actually kill the target, and it's hard to kill targets with just 1 fusion rifle shot in that Master and Grandmaster content, but all the rest of the content in the game, Reservoir Burst is absolutely amazing. In the very last perk, you've got Incandescent. Defeating a target spreads Scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause more Scorch in a larger radius. Incandescent, very, very good perk for PvE, especially if you're on a solar subclass, something like the Warlock Starfire Protocol. Incandescent does very well when you slot it into those builds. And then last but not least, we have a basic origin trait called Noble Deeds. Gain charges by assisting your allies via revives, healing, overshields, and subclass buffs. Consume charges by defeating foes. While charged, this weapon gains bonus handling and reload speed. This is definitely an interesting origin trait, but not the best origin trait in the game. So now that we've taken a look at the stats, we've taken a look at all the perks that can drop on this, what are the god rolls for PvE and PvP? First off, I'm going to be honest with you, the base stats aren't crazy good, so I wouldn't take this into the Crucible. You can, and you can do well in the Crucible, but there are tons of other fusion rifles that are going to do better than it. But if you absolutely had to, I would go with something like Arrowhead Break for that huge bump to recoil direction. I would go with Projection Fuse so we can get those deeper one-hit kills. Offhand Strike in the first column and Killing Wind in the second column. Like I said, the range and stability isn't too good, but Offhand Strike is going to help with that. And then Killing Wind is just going to add on to even more range, even more accuracy. It's going to help you ensure that you get those one-hit kills in the Crucible, and all you have to do is get 1 kill before that. And fusion rifles are pretty damn good in the Crucible, so that's not too hard. So Arrowhead Break, Projection Fuse, Offhand Strike, Killing Wind with the range masterwork for the Crucible. That would be my opinion. Then getting into the PvE god roll, I would say go with Arrowhead Break, Particle Repeater for more stability, because range doesn't matter too much in PvE. Then in the first column, I would go with Envious Assassin, so you can overflow your magazine. And then I would pair that with Reservoir Burst. And the reason I would pair this with Reservoir Burst is because remember how I was talking about Envious Assassin and how you can overflow the magazine and you can get 18 in the mag? Well, that actually pairs perfectly with Reservoir Burst. And Envious Assassin and Reservoir Burst is what I have on my fusion rifle in this gameplay. And normally I got 8 in the mag. So after I fire off my first shot, Reservoir Burst actually goes away. But in this footage, you can see I overflow my magazine all the way up until 18, and instead of just getting one burst of Reservoir Burst, I actually have 10 rounds that I can fire off, all with Reservoir Burst active. It is pretty nutty in PvE and very, very fun for those solar builds. And as far as I know, Envious Assassin and Reservoir Burst, you can't roll this on any other fusion rifle in the game. It's an extremely rare perk combo, but if you can't get that, Incandescent is a close second for those solar builds. But I would definitely say go with Envious Assassin and Reservoir Burst. But Guardians, those are just my opinions. Let me know your thoughts on this fusion rifle down in the comments. Have you got your hands on this thing? Do you guys have a crafted version? Are you guys liking it? Let me know. If you guys are new here, need more Destiny 2 in your life, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitch for the live streams, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.